In today's episode, we want to focus on the attack on women, and this we are going to see how he has done it. And number one, we remember that God gave a curse to the snake, the enemy, and say that her generation will squander the head of the serpent, and the serpent will bite the heel of man. And in this context, we want to say that all along, the devil has always tried to wage war on women. He has tried over and over again, and in this generation, in our context, we want to say that one of the ways is going to be promiscuous sex. And you find that a lot of young women are being plunged into such activities and not knowing what they are getting into. And in this place, you find that most are being tricked by money. You see, most of the time, poverty is a bad thing because it pushes people to go beyond the moral values. And you see, most ladies in the society, if you ask them, will they sleep with someone for $1 million? It's like, okay, for any amount of cash, you can buy a woman's body, and that is not okay. But the society, you see how the world is right now. The devil has made things so tough. The world is becoming more wicked, and you see that we find young girls a lot are turning into promiscuous sex, they're turning into prostitution in order to provide for themselves. And in this context, you'll see also that he is fighting women through them being gay. You see, it is not right. It's not the order of life, not the order which God created. And when they fight women like this, at the end of the day, is not going to be right, because God abhors or hates that. And this does result to unwanted pregnancy. Find that someone is young, she is already pregnant, and it is tough for some families, because when one can think, how am I going to provide for this child? What am I going to do? And you find that they start thinking of abortion. And all around the world, we see that in the past few months, we've seen the nation of the United States, they are crying for the rights to abort fetus. And it is sad that in few years, we have seen a lot of abortions. Over 30 million people have been aborted, and that is not right. That is not right before the face of God. And all this is just the fight, because you have blood on yourself for what you have done. Aborting is not right before the face of God. And another thing we want to see is drug and substance abuse. These days, we see actually in this land of Kenya, I can say that there is a lot of women drinking more than men, and I don't understand. I don't know what the hell is going on, because it is not right. I don't know this strategy the enemy has used, and practically it's working, because I see a lot of young ladies, beautiful ladies, they are drinking their way out. I don't know if it is frustration or they just want to have whatever they want. They want to be free, and in doing that, they become drunk. And you see, when a woman becomes drunk, it becomes a dishonor upon her, because when you walk along the way, you see a woman who is drunk, cussing around, falling. It is a shameful thing, because she ought to be a person who respects herself. And another thing I want to talk about is failed marriages. A lot of people are being scarred by divorce. A lot of people are being scarred, being left. We have a lot of single mothers around there, because this is a strategy, another strategy the enemy is using, that people think that being cuffed to the right person is only to come to you at the end of the day. He was not the right person, and therefore you end up having a child, you end up having divorce, you end up being bitter and sad in life. And you are walking in life saying that all men are bad. You're walking in life saying that all men are evil. This is by your own experience, that it is a particular time. I live in a time where there are a lot of friends, a lot of people in the society, they are opting to stay far away. We see a lot of divorces and failed marriages every single day, and that is not right. And we continue to see that in the earlier part, which is say that the ladies are being tied, okay, in sexual morality, and this brings about sexual ties, and sexual ties are quite tough. You find that a few people know how to break them, and at the end of the day you find that someone has so many sexual ties within herself that at the end of the day you find that her life is more messed up, because within that single soul there are multiple of partners. You find it 5-10 people, and this part of their soul that they left in you, it has an impact on your life, and you find that a few people know how to deal with that, and it becomes an issue. So another thing I want to talk about is the new age spiritualism. We find a lot of people in this new movement, they're talking about the universe, they're talking about the spirituality and all this. This is not right. God did not intend for the souls of people to be indoctrinated in gods and foreign powers. He ought to be worshipped him and him alone, for he is a jealous God. And therefore we should come to a point that we should understand that this new age spiritualism, this manifesting of the universe, is not right, is not a good context. It's just a lies from the devil. We find a lot of people taking time buying bracelets and rocks which promote nothing. They go and buy objects which are more impacted with demons, and they come upon their life and make their lives a living hell. And you find that another thing is that there is a lot of nudity around the world, and you find that when women parade themselves, it becomes something that intrigues. It makes men lust after them, and this, when men lust, they do fall in sin, and therefore it is a strategy. You find that people are saying that I want to be trend, I want to be fashionable, I want to go with the movement, and when they follow the movement, actually for now there's a lot of sexual promiscuity. Everyone is just wearing clothes to nothing, and they say my dress, my choice, and there's nothing you can do about it. It is how the society is getting rotten every day. And find that what is right, it doesn't matter how much, if God said it is wrong, doesn't matter how much the society tries to justify it, it will always be wrong in the society, and it will always be wrong in the eyes of God. And these are just but the few. But I want to tell you on something, that ladies are important in society, and we find that they are being waged war by the enemy in different methods, in order to make them useless, in order to destroy their lives, in order to make them not have joy. You have a lot of single mothers, and you find that a lot of children who are brought by a single mother, they lack something. You find that a lot of people who are in jail are a lot of single mothers, people who are having issues at home, at school. It is brought about all by this. I do not say that a single parenthood is bad, but I'm saying sometimes there is that pain that causes women to behave in a different way. When they're left, when they're betrayed, that pain, and they have that child, you may not understand. And therefore it is important that we come back to the context, that a woman who has honor within her, a woman who has God within her, she is more beautiful. She is more beautiful in the sight of God and in the sight of men. A woman who covers herself, a woman who chooses to keep the baby instead of aborting, a woman who understands the consequences of promiscuous sex, and he goes about and break the ties. These are the things that are going to help you. Stay away from drugs, stay away from the trends of the world, stay away from the things that you think are right. The social media is destroying your self-esteem. It's making you want things that are not reasonable. So brothers and sisters, wherever you are, I want to tell you that you have to work. If you have a sister out there, if you have a girlfriend, a wife, a mother, you know that the enemy is after them, and more importantly, those that are born again, the enemy is after you. So strive, be keen, and when you put your armor, when you are right with God, God is going to help you out to overcome these things. But that is it for today, and may God bless you. Shalom and shalom.